Welcome back, where Manchester United lead at the break now after the delay to July's planned showdown. The biggest fight in boxing is back on as Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder complete the trilogy in their epic rivalry. The much anticipated third world title fight live and exclusive on BT Sport Box Office Saturday the 9th of October. But this evening our focus is on the football. Manchester United, a goal up but a man down. Let's start with the good part of the half for United. Who else?
Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo steps up again. The moment comes and he doesn't disappoint. But I think we're going to talk about, and Scholes is going to get into the past. The past was exquisite to him. All he had to do was finish. But you have to be there. You have to be in the danger area. You have to be in the 18-yard box. And he's one of the best predators about right now. I think it's winning the ball as well. It's the intensity there to win the ball. And then this bit here, I'll let Paul take over.
Yeah, this is brilliant. But it's no surprise. We know the vision. We know how outstanding his technique as well. The outside of his foot, you don't realise how difficult that is. He just has to get it past that first defender, and we know then with that AstroTurf, it's going to skid on. And Cristiano, with that movement as well, it's perfectly into his path. And now the only thing Cristiano's thinking about is he's keeping the ball down, getting it on target, and he knows if he does that, he's got a great chance of scoring.
There's a lovely clip here when you see him, look at the composure, the weight, and he's looking, his eyes are on him, just to deliver that pass at the last moment for Cristiano. Just a lovely little bit of contact. And who else? The main man.
So that's the good. Let's talk about the bad. Look, the red card has caused plenty of debate online, as everything seems to these days. But the reality is, as it was in the Euros, if it's above the foot, if it's on the ankle or higher, UEFA have said, we will be harsh and we'll instruct the referees to make a strong decision in that situation.
Yeah, you feel for him, because I don't think there's no real intent. He gets in trouble with his first touch there. And once you go in with that kind of force, you have to get it right. He misses the ball. And from that moment, it's inevitable that he's going to get sent off. Again, there's no intent. There's no need for there to be intent. There was nothing in.
But that's an irrelevance in the decision.
But no, for sure the ref's got it right. It's a red card. I don't know why people are thinking it's not. Once you miss it at this level, he's got to go. He
didn't really put up much of a fuss either, did he? So he looked like in himself, I think he kind of expected the red card after the tackle was made. And in our time, that's not a red card. You get a pat on the back and say, well done, mate, contact. But
he caused himself his own problem, doesn't he? A really clumsy touch. And then the tackle's awkward. I don't think he's done it on purpose. A little bit accidental, but as you say, he's gone over the top.
And obviously
he has to go.
VAR looked at it, agreed with the referee's decision. So Manchester United, a goal up, but a man down at the break.
And Cristiano Ronaldo more than delivered. I mean, it was just such a special day for football fans around the world, just seeing him back in the Premier League.
Yeah, for football fans, you're right. Neutral fans around the world will you can't stop smiling the whole day. You know, him coming onto the pitch, the roar of the crowd, scoring a goal, you just know the script is written. And me and Andy were just saying there, imagine some of these young kids that are at Old Trafford all around the world, and they've been watching Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, let's say, over the last decade and more, really, and thinking they're the best two players on the planet by a mile, and now he rejoins your team, and all of a sudden you see him score 2 goals. When you see the faces of some of the people in the crowd when he scored, it was just one of those very rare moments when football was just a brilliant game.
It really, really was. And I mean, I remember Steve Bauer and Owen Hargreaves were on the ground, weren't they, for us on Matchday Live? And Steve was saying that he hasn't seen a warm-up that's been watched so closely ever. No. I mean, it was incredible.
Is every moment, is every second, every movement he made would have been tracked by pretty much everybody today, which is what makes him, I think, so unique. It's the hardest thing to do on a football field, is to put the ball in the back of the net. He did it brilliantly for many years. This guy just I've watched him so many times over the years, watching Champions League football, and marvelled at how he's got this incredible ability to continue to put himself in the right spot at the right time, and then execute it, and then put it in the back of the net. It's such an incredible skill, and to still have it at 36, the desire to do it, Mo, is I think very special.
Well, we're very lucky. I mean, we get to rub shoulders with other great players here. You know, Paul Scholes was in early, and people like that. What Cristiano Ronaldo does for even players, you know, we've played the game, we've rubbed shoulders with people, other great players, but even those great players just can't
they can't fathom how this fella does it. How you can stay at the top of your game for that long, that determination, that desire, never injured. If you type perfect footballer into a computer, it just comes out as Ronaldo. His shape, his size, his abs, everything about him is just unbelievable. And as I say, any neutral watching around the world today has to just appreciate it.
I was laughing at, do you think he'll let himself go when he finishes playing? Do you think he might put a couple of stone on and
Not like us,
put the trousers on one day and think they're getting a bit nippy? I don't think so. I just think this guy is just unbelievable. He really is, and we're so glad that he's come back to the Premier League because
it's a treat for us.
Because and funny enough, again, another thing, Seema, just quickly, Michael and I were talking earlier. In his era, there was him, Robbie Fowler, Shearer, Ferdinand, Ian Wright, all of those sort of guys that were absolute goal-scoring machines. Now we got Kane, we got Salah, we got Ronaldo, we got Lukaku, we got Vardy, we got another little group of players coming along that can, maybe I don't think are quite there in terms of the numbers in Michael's era, but can rival it certainly the top 5 or 6. Yeah.
And no doubt all of those players you just mentioned are going to spur Ronaldo on even more to do even better, which is actually quite a scary prospect.
Well, he's had it all his life. I've got no doubts about it. If Messi wasn't around, Ronaldo wouldn't have hit the numbers that he's hit. He would still be an amazing player, great player, breaking all the records. But you need people to push you. Everybody needs it. And of course, he's getting on in years. He's 36. In football terms, that's old.
Yes.
And for
a striker as well.
Exactly. He's going to have real competition. Lukaku at the top of his game. Harry Kane, as we've said, at the top of his game. Salah, he's not slowing down. He's at the top. So he's going to get competition for that golden boot. And of course, that's a nice to have. They all want the Premier League title. But also, for players like Ronaldo, they don't get to being as good as they are without having the little players in that box. There was none of them moving a muscle.
Every Newcastle defender there expected Freddie Woodman just to gather that ball, and the next thing, the goalie's got it in his hands and he's throwing it out. They were all on their heels, and Mo's right. He just thought there might be something for me. He's not even thinking. He's just instinctively on the move. He's done it so many times, been in that scenario, and that's what happens. And it's because of just that great habit that he's got that he gets himself a goal.
Well, we actually quite often
goes in, and he is. I never watch him and think that was a place. Why did you hit it so hard? You should have placed it, or that was a ding. You never question his choice of finish. Yeah. And when you choose the right thing all the time, you're going to have a far greater, quantity of goals. It's quite a simple equation.
I just wonder, if you're coming up against Ronaldo, you're a defender, you're a goalkeeper, are you relishing this opportunity, or are you pretty fearful?
One thing you do know is that as Hayden did there a couple of times, gave him a little bit too much room. You give him half a chance to shoot, he will. You give him any opportunity to work a goalkeeper, he'll be doing that. So I'm sure that most of the Premier League defences now will talk about him a lot in the build up to matches. They'll want to try and deny him. I mean, in the start of that game, Newcastle actually did quite well. They played quite well at times. They had their own one or two little situations themselves. But they just slept for a split second. They're on their heels in the box when he's on the move and he gets the first goal. The second goal, that gully just opened up a little bit. There's a little bit too much room. The ball's laid through to him. It's a perfect first touch and a left foot strike and he gets his second. So certainly defenders will know that if they allow him to get the wrong side, if they allow him to get into a better position than where they are, he'll punish them. He will hurt them.
Well, Paul Scholes and Tim Sherwood were on Matchday Live earlier on, and they were analysing his performance, and here's what they had to say.
Was that, all in all, the perfect afternoon for United then, Paul?
Yeah, probably. I think they will play better. Newcastle were a little bit unfortunate, some good performances from them, but yeah, all the euphoria going around today as well, the emotion, it was a very emotional afternoon, just to get that out of the way, really get the first performance out of the way, get Cristiano his first 2 goals. Of many, I hope. Really good performance, good win. And again, they need to keep that going. They need to maintain that if they're going to get anywhere near winning the league.
How do you now reflect on Ronaldo's second? Yes, But more often than not, it does pay off for him, doesn't it?
Well, you just get your shots on target, don't you? You're told that all the time, especially as a number 9, as a centre forward. Get your shots on target. You're always going to have a chance, whether it goes in the corner, you might drag it a little bit if it's perfect. Sometimes it does go through the keeper's legs, and it's shown that, and he's got a great instinct to score goals then.
Watch him back over and over again. You can watch his goals all the time because he's just so great to look at. And I guess in terms of the players around him, he's going to improve them massively, isn't he?
I think he will. I think he will drag standards up in the dressing room. I think Ibra did that for a little while when he was at United. I think because he had that confidence, that arrogance with the way that he played. I think that sort of guy as well those type of players have an ability to do that. But I think with Ronaldo, I think when anyone wants to analyse what he's done, he's just the numbers that he's produced over the years, the consistency, the trophies he's won, and the way that he's looks after himself, and the way that he still has that appetite to keep getting out there. I think it can only have a positive effect. If I'm Marcus Rashford now, who's had it's been a tough summer for him, and he's obviously had his shoulder surgery, etc. Coming back, Cavani signed an extra year. All of a sudden, this guy walks through the door, and it's like it's me plus maybe one of you or two of you who wants to play with me. I mean, that's the gauntlet that Ronaldo throws down to his teammates. Who's playing with me? Not whether or not I'm out the side. So some of those guys are going to have it full on to get a game mode now, aren't they?
And that's what they need. Manchester United need that competition again, don't they? I mean, back when they were winning virtually everything, they had 4 top strikers all the time. York, Cole, Sheringham, Solskjaer himself. So you need that competition. And he's certainly going to give it them. As Andy said, it's going to be who's going to be playing alongside him. But the fascinating thing, and Scholes talked about it as well, is the way he's changed over the years. We're going to be watching a different Ronaldo over these next couple of years. And it's going to be fascinating to watch him evolve and how he does, because he'll find a way to stay on top of the, on top of the pile. He's already done that over the last sort of decade and more. So it's going to be fascinating to see this sort of new type of Ronaldo playing in the Premier League.
And do you know what else will be fascinating to see? How Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manages this whole situation and keeps this squad of players happy, because he won't want to start on the bench.
No. He want to play every game. He want to play every minute of every game. So Ole will have to manage that and have to be clever with that. And I'm sure they'll have already had discussions about that. But Ole now has the tools that he craved. He now has the ability, with a very powerful squad, to be ultra competitive. Anything less than that, United have to be up there with an opportunity to win this league come next February, March, April time. If they're not, I think that will be looked upon as failure. I really do, because there's no reason why they can't. They've got everything and maybe more than some in certain positions. So they have to be massively competitive this year.
And there will be huge expectations on them for that. And with the upcoming fixtures, I mean, the Champions League starts on Tuesday. They're going to be up against young boys. You'd expect that Ronaldo would start in that game, would you not?
Well, I always think it's important in the Champions League, in the group stages, to try to win as many games you can early on. And then when the games come thick and fast, later on in the season, the later group stages, heading just before Christmas, let's say, because then you've got a really busy period, you can rest 1 or 2. So if they can win their first 3 games, let's say, then all of a sudden you can start having a quiet word with Cristiano and saying, right, I'll save you for the big Premier League.
Good luck, Ollie.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there were a couple of other goals scored, weren't there, in the game today, other than Ronaldo's brace. Let's look at Bruno Fernandes's goal.